Hello everybody, it's Pineapple here, back with another video. Now today we're going to be talking about how to beat Labrynth. Now a lot of people have been very frustrated with Lab due to, the event in Master Duel, that is the Fiend Fairy event, which was tailor-made for Labrynth, with other decks being hit, but Lab at full power, which I imagine is a very, very frustrating prospect. So today I thought we'd talk about, how do you beat Lab. We'll start off, of course, by talking about, the sweepers, the back row hate that you should play. We'll discuss how they impact Fern Lab, how they impact, the trap variant. But that said, we'll just hop right into it. First up, we're going to talk about sweepers. Duster. Duster's always good as back row removal. That the same applies to Lightning Storm in the side deck. These are just good, generic back row hate. They're fantastic. Again, you play 2 Storm, a Feather Duster, because, Lightning Storm's attack position monster effect, while it does come up, sometimes it's not great. Mostly you just want these to win the game. This is significantly more effective against the version which is the trap variant, because Fern Lab only really wants to have like 2 or 3 back row tops, because they don't want to overcommit. They want to play a nice long grind game with you. They want to slow you down and then ruin your day with Chaos Angel shenanigans, the field spell, etc., etc. And so while Duster and Lightning Storm certainly set them back, they're still able to play on your turn, especially once they get their hands on transaction rollback. I don't expect that these will be particularly effective against Fern Lab, but they are still good to have. We also have Twin Twister and Cosmic Cyclone. These are fantastic specific targeted removal. I find them to honestly be a little bit more effective than stuff like Storm and Feather Duster, because you get to pick what your target is, and also you can chain them to normal traps, which means that you can deny them a lady set. That's very important because you can remove a resource from them, and you can also deny them a future resource at the same time. Just really, really strong cards that benefit explicitly from being quick play, not necessarily because they remove more cards from the board. Again, keep in mind that Twin Twister has a discard cost, but Cosmic will burn you in time. Just keep that in mind. But the best back row removal that you can play for both Fern and Stun Lab is Evenly Matched. Evenly Matched is exceptionally good because it denies them the ability to recur the resources that they lose. When you go for Evenly Matched, the lab player is going to have to either do one of 2 things. Just by going to battle, you will force them to either go for an Eradicator called Trap play, or you will force them to, give up their entire board, minus maybe a normal trap, and denying them a lady. If they lose out on a lady, they just are out a lady, and then you only have to play through 1, which is exceptionally difficult to do. Again, if you really want to play Lab Hate, I can't recommend Evenly Matched enough. Just a stupid card that should never have been printed. The one thing about monster removal that Lab very much loses to is Super Poly. This is the one card that I, again, along with Evenly Matched, these are my number 2 and number 1 recommendations to beat Labrynth specifically. Super Poly is exceptionally frustrating for Lab. I can't stress enough how much I hate playing against this card in Lab. If you want to beat Labrynth, play Super Poly, especially if you're playing against Fern Lab. Super Poly does so much because it can't be responded to, which means it doesn't lose to stuff like Judgment. It will be able to deny your opponent a resource because you can chain it to the normal trap activation, so you can deny them a lady set, and then on top of that, just wipe their board away with non-destruction, non-targeting removal, and then gain a resource in the form of Garura to replenish your draw. This card is really good as well because in the side, you can use it for decks other than Labrynth. It's not just exclusive to Labrynth. You can Super Poly all kinds of decks. There's literally too many options for this card for me to discuss all of them right now. This card is fantastic because it is not just Lab Hate. That's why I think it's so strong. But moving on to Floodgates, monster-based ones, Denko, Dark Simorgh, and of course, Jinzo. I don't own a copy of Jinzo somehow. Don't ask me how, I just don't. Denko is, weird. She's really good, but she isn't, particularly searchable. And also, you have to control no set cards. And you probably want to have some back row, I don't think there's a deck now that, wants to play without back row because, you don't want to be losing to stuff like Dark Rulers. So, you're going to play stuff like Monodium Reframing in Synchro decks and stuff. So, yeah, Denko's okay, but she also costs you in a normal. Dark Simorgh is good in exactly Fluwandereeze. The ability to deny your opponent's sets is exceptionally good because, then they can't use their furniture. They're also probably going to be under Shifter and Flu. Just really good in Flu specifically. They have to draw Imperm to out this card, or they have to draw a Kaiju. But again, Dark Simorgh is a really strong Floodgate. And Jinzo is Jinzo. You're going to probably be using Jinzo in Branded because, you can search him with sending him off of the Boy of Branded Fusion in order to make Lubellian, and then you can reborn him with Sanctifier, just a stupid card. But continuous Floodgate wise, Tikaboo, really good. If you're playing Vanquish Soul or Gold Pride, you can side this for Lab. It's very, very difficult, very frustrating to out because, you know, the way that you want to remove stuff typically is with your Lovely and Big Welcome, and you can't really do that under Tikaboo. Just a really frustrating card. You need to be able to reach a copy of Dogmatic of Punishment or Terrors of the Overroot, and that said, that can sometimes be really hard to do when you're under Tikaboo. It requires you to draw the out sort of situation for Lab, and, you know, is the only Floodgate that they really struggle under. Royal Decree is fantastic as well, but I don't think it hits enough decks to warrant playing. It would literally just be you're only playing it for Lab, and again, I think Super Poly is just better if you want to, because Super Poly can be used going first and going second, and this card is only good going first. That said, they can out it with Big Welcome and Grave, so keep that in mind. If you're on Sprite, I think Grave of the Super Ancient Organism is a fantastic going first option. It's going to hit decks like Kashdira as well, because you know, level 6 or higher special summon monsters on the field can attack or activate their effects. Just really, really, really strong, very frustrating card for decks like Kashdira and Labrynth to out, because, you know, the main form of removal is in fact tied to their level 6 or higher monsters. Grave is just a really strong card. For like monster-based removal and hand traps, the Bestials are fantastic. Getting your furniture out of the grave and killing their recursion while giving yourself resources is fantastic. Additionally, you can use them to make Chaos Angel. If you're on Vanquish Soul, they're Darks to reveal. Just really strong cards. They also hit Branded very well. There are decks that are not just named Labrynth that lose to the Bestials. They hit things that are not just Lab, which is why they are so valuable in the side. They're the Bestials. I don't really have a lot to say. They hit tier. Additionally, generically hand traps, Ash and Bell. Ash for regular, Bell for big. Just really, 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 really strong against Lab specifically, because, you know, denying them welcomes is always good, and you're chain blocking Lady, which means you're denying them even further resources. Just really frustrating, really good cards against Labrynth. They're low impact hand traps, but that said, you know, against Lab specifically, they're like Nibiru. Just really good, really, really good cards against Lab. I can't stress enough how the most basic hand traps are the ones that are really good. Moving on to the mirror. The mirror is a little complicated because, you know, there's a whole bunch of different things that are going to make it really weird. The first is, you know, resource looping. All the Lab monsters are exceptionally good with the exception of Archfiend in the mirror. Lady is going to be grabbing all sorts of crazy resources from the deck, and Lovely is going to be preventing your opponent from chaining their Lady to it. Ariana looping is very powerful, and the furniture is going to enable a whole bunch of recursion. But the number one thing that you have to worry about in the mirror most of the time is not Lady, it's not the furniture, and it's not Ariana looping. The thing you're going to have to worry about most are Lovely and the Field Spell. These two cards are the cornerstone and backbone of what is going to win you the mirror. The ability to deny your opponent's sets with Lovely off of your set trap cards with Lady means that you can save your Lady for their trap cards so that they can't, you know, get sets off their own traps. This is incredibly important as it denies them from getting to things like Ice Dragons and Eradicator. Additionally, the Field Spell being able to get additional pops just is so good. It makes all your non-welcome traps, you know, removal card, reborns, forgive me, just exceptionally powerful. The Field Spell is like, you want this card. Whoever opens it, like if you hard draw the Field Spell, you're in a fantastic position. It's almost unlosable if you open the Field Spell in the mirror. Just so, so strong. But Eradicator and Ice Dragons are the two normal traps that are going to put in the most work for you. And this is simply because Ice Dragons is able to out Lady because it is a non-targeting banish. It's also going to deny them furniture resources in the grave. Now, Eradicator does not win the mirror. You have to kind of wait on it and sit on it until the end phase. And if they have furniture, they just win anyways, because now you have committed your entire board to Eradicator. And then now they're going to set up, you know, some back row with the furniture. So keep in mind that EEV is kind of a coin toss if you know, want to go for it and you're committing your entire board to it. It's just very risky. I don't like Eradicator in the mirror. It is good, don't get me wrong, and it will win you games in the mirror, but you have to be very careful about when you do it. You have to be very conscious of the fact that you can get burned by the furniture very, very easily. This card is important, but it isn't, you know, the win con that people make it out to be. I've seen people lose because they've committed to Eradicator. I've lost because I've committed to Eradicator. And Ice Dragons is often safer because it's just going to out Lady, it's going to out Lovely. Just an exceptionally good card in the mirror that removes resources from the grave as well. Whoever opens Ariana is at a very good disadvantage because, you know, you're going to want to be putting her back in your hand, and you're going to want to be, you know, bouncing her back to hand with Big Welcome, you know, normal summoning her again to get more resources. It's a track meet, but it's also a marathon. The Lab Mirror is a very weird matchup, but there are a lot of things that determine who wins, and a lot of it comes down to skill, and a lot of it comes down to who opens a little bit better. It's a very, very strange matchup. I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys picked up something new to play against Lab if you have been struggling against this deck. If you did learn something, make sure you like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next one.